Sarah, will you let me know when we get up to wherever I'm gonna drop a live notification.
No, we're live on Substack.
Live on Substack.
Okay.
And people are pouring in.
Pouring?
There's 4 people so far.
Oh,
They just
this is not like
not
like the other day when it was like 500 people or whatever.
Oh my
and that was
God.
crazy. I was really all right anyway. So let me bring up my notes because I have notes. I write.
Oh wait, that's me.
Oh,
there we go. Ah, that was me.
Okay. Hey, I wonder, Sarah, if Conscientious Tank is going to show up, or whatever. I wonder if Conscientious Tank is going to show up. If they did, I think that would be funny. Okay, so good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? Today was just a really exhausting day, politically as well as personally. Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you again. So, just as a brief intro, I don't know if everybody saw, but the Supreme Court shot down Trump's ability to use tariffs. So that's out the door. Trump has continued to label trans persons as terrorists. And Fox News yesterday did a broadcast where numerous hosts on the Fox News show said that trans persons should never own guns. That's really going to inspire me not to own a gun. I mean, outside of my own nonviolent inclination to do so. And so then, on top of that, Trump had the weird hot mic moment where they caught Trump saying, and I literally quote, hot, handsome men.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So,
to whom was he referring?
Right?
We don't know. But here's the thing. So if he did that and it's gay, does that mean we have to claim him? Because I don't want to claim him.
No, we ain't claiming him.
Like he was the leader of the hot, handsome men or something.
No, we ain't claiming him. No.
I mean, I'm not. No. I was okay with claiming Cher. I am not claiming Donald Trump.
No. What about Lindsey Graham?
Is actually gay. I know. And then too, like the other political thing that was happening that the MAGA movement is continuing to fall apart over the Epstein. The Epstein files has divided that base in such a way that, again, politically, it's a train wreck. And so with all the Republicans that are not seeking re-election because they know they're going to lose in the midterms, and MAGA's fracturing apart, and Trump can't use tariffs anymore at will without Congress's approval, how much crazier is it going to get? That's the thing that's the question that begs. And I should point out, by the way, Trump claiming that trans people shouldn't own guns because they kill people. I'm going to point out that in the last 180 years, the percentage of mass shooters have been cisgender, right-wing, conservative men. 98%. Sam Berkowitz, not trans. Yes, his dog was telling him to do shit, but Sam Berkowitz was not trans. So I just want to point that out. So survival point one. So I'm going to read the narrative, and then we're just going to talk about it. So I am not free while any woman is unfree, even when her shackles are very different from my own. That's Gloria Anzaldúa, who is a queer feminist. Chica. Is Chica politically correct? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Right. Okay. If somebody that is watching the show,
That seems to be something that would have the in-group can use that the out-group can't. Vibes to it.
Okay. I'm not going to like Chicana or Chicana was the actual word that I used in this case, but I'm not sure if that is outwardly politically correct or not. If it was offensive to anybody, I apologize. But so here's the point. That quote lands hard in the morning when Fox is proposing federal checkboxes to strip rights from trans Americans. What Gloria is saying is, and what Lawrence Jones will never understand from his studio desk, this is the asshole that said trans people should never own guns, is that liberation is not finite. It can't be. It can't be by default. Someone else's freedom does not cost you your freedom. That's not allowed. But erasure costs everyone everything. And so when the machinery of the state turns towards any of us, all of us are going to suffer as a result of it. That's not paranoia. That's just history that's happened over time. And so, that begs the question that why are we staying quiet? I'm not staying quiet. I don't imagine you guys are either.
I mean, we're pretty quiet at the moment, but
So, have you ever stayed quiet about something that you shouldn't have? That's an even better question. And what does that what did that silence cost you? I can tell you right off. I'm a transit rider, and yesterday, on the way home from work, I was on transit, and the ride down, I was wearing a sleeveless top, and I had this woman who wanted to talk to me for 20 minutes about my tattoo, and who, or whatever. And then Sarah and I had a conversation or whatever. But then on the eastbound train, thankfully, Sarah and I were talking about administrative shit regarding domains. And the eastbound train, there was a clear drug user. I mean, like, had track marks on her arm, drug user, who was begging for food and money to buy drugs. And so, there were people on the train that were giving her money and handing her an orange and handing her food or whatever. But I was completely silent in that capacity, because in those cases, I don't know how to process that. And I don't know how to deal with that. Understanding that homelessness is a huge problem in the U.S. And of course, drug use is a huge problem in the U.S. And so that silence, from my own perspective, sort of cost me a smidge of my humanity, because my mind says, if I give this person money, they're just going to buy drugs. So I can't feed into that, because feeding into that just encourages it. but I want to be gracious and I want to be kind to others. It's against my mentality to do that. So that's a case where I was silent and I shouldn't have been. So. I know what you're being silent about, Sarah.
And I'm gonna continue being.
I
silent
get
about
20
that.
fucking DMs every day about it.
Things that I've been silent about. I mean, the example that you gave of the person asking for money and food and whatnot. I run into those very similar type of people, but they're usually panhandling on the side of the road. And there's a lot of times that you just can't, like, the timing isn't right, so you don't get to interact with them because the light isn't allowing for you to stop. But also in that same breath, if I was to stop and financially or verbally or assist every single person that I saw on the side of the street, I would never accomplish anything. So I know you hate it when I answer a question with a question, but I'm going to anyhow. At what point does speaking up become counterproductive?
Repeat the question one more time.
So at what point does, like, in that type of instance, at what point does speaking up become counterproductive?
That's an excellent group question. Brandon, what do you think about that? You're still on mute. You didn't unmute yourself.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh. I don't know. At what point does it become?
At what point does speaking out about something become counterproductive?
Counterproductive. Well, well, sometimes. I mean, I guess it depends on who it is and what the situation is. But you could. Sometimes speaking up encourages the person. Like, that's what they want a lot of times. I'm not talking about in the homeless kind of situation, but there are times, like, if there's someone who has a negative response to your story or whatever, your post, and it's homophobic or discriminatory in some way, a lot of times they're looking for a fight or an argument or whatnot, and you giving them that is only feeding them more, because that's what they want to hear. They want you to argue with them, and they like the combative, the animosity going back and forth, and they feed on that and thrive on that. So in that case, yeah, I think that is counterproductive, because you're not going to be talking to them and changing their mind in any way. So arguing with them and giving points about why they're wrong or what the fallacies are of their argument, that does no good, because they just want the argument so they can spew back more things. And I think in that case, it does become counterproductive. I think most of the time it's better. I usually don't respond at all. Sometimes I'll give a response, and of course that doesn't stop. They always have to have the last word, and they'll continue. So for me, it's easier just to block and then go about my day. I'm not gonna. It is counterproductive to engage with them. So I think in that instance, yeah, that is a.
We have an old tradition in the hacker world, and there's a couple of adages that are attached to this, and so one of those adages is don't feed the troll.
Yeah.
If you're getting trolled, don't feed the troll. Paired against to this, by the way, that if you decide to engage the troll, usually, and in parallel fashion, in a related fashion, Godwin's law gets invoked. And what Godwin's law says that in an internet discussion, as the internet discussion continues forward, the likelihood that somebody will be compared to a Nazi or be called a Nazi, that probability becomes 1, which means it will definitely happen. And if you invoke Godwin's law in an internet argument, then you've already lost the argument by having to invoke Godwin's on somebody. And so, yeah, I don't feed the troll. I mean, if you feed that narrative, they want that combativeness. If you don't, that's the same rationale. If Miranda and I get on public transit and somebody says you'll never be a woman, or you're a T slur, or you're a gay slur, or whatever, there were just a few weeks back, I got in the dude's face, and I literally was like, "You're gonna hit me? Hit me, but don't miss, because I'll beat your ass right here in front of all these people." That just feeds into that narrative. It's better to just ignore it and walk away from that.
I did a video the other day with a guy, and there was a comment on there, a negative, derogatory comment, and I responded to it, and then he kept going, and the other guy on the video was going back and forth with him, but I stayed out of it. But I was like, I'm done with it, responding to this guy, but I did write an article about it. So it's instead of being counterproductive, I used it as material and wrote an article that will come out on Monday, I think.
Yeah, I do things like that too, where it's like someone says something disingenuous or harmful, and I will take it out of that social context and then use it as a jumping off point for an audience that's going to be more receptive, who wants to understand.
Well, I think from our perspective as a group of people that discuss things, this becomes very relevant if you ever watch the YouTube live stream, which gets filled full of people who are feeding into whatever disgusting narrative. The amount of homophobia and transphobia that I have experienced as of starting to live stream on YouTube has increased exponentially. But Miranda, I think there's strength in taking that experience, turning it back around, using it to fuel something else. That's one of the reasons why you're the greatest poet that I've ever known in real life.
Thank you.
I mean, I wouldn't trust you as much as I do if I didn't say that. So when I say that, I mean it. So, all right, Onyx.
So Mine's a little bit more personal, I think. I, when I'm in an episode right now, um, and it's a mixed episode, and with that comes um, rejection issues and um, the other issues. And I posted this thing about a month ago or two, and somebody responded yesterday, and it just made me start to spiral. I kind of threw it in a chat, and not a lot of people responded. So I threw it somewhere else, and not a lot of people responded. So I just kind of, I just started going down, 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 down. Um, and it was like so fast that I was going down. Um, but then I sat and, you know, and anyway, um, I came out of it. But the rejection sits with me. It's that feeling of, no one. And I think I did see something on yours, Wendy, that kind of caught me. Something about presence, and that's kind of funny because I'm actually writing an article right now about presence, and how presence was my first handle ever in a chat room, and it's the name of my website now. And it's a way that I describe myself, and how it also links to Invisible Man, which studies psychologically and socially racism, and other themes. Um, so yeah, and as Brandon and Miranda said, I take these pains and throw them into articles, hoping that somebody will read them and get some use out of them. Mental health is a bitch, um, but it helps to write it out. Um,
Well, that feeds directly into the second part of the narrative for today, which is um, presence and survival. Um, so, what they did to us, what they are still doing to us, is not bigger than what we are. Be that gay or lesbian or trans or asexual or polysexual or whatever. Marcia didn't survive by getting harder. She didn't. She survived by being undeniable. Um, in a situation like hers, because uh, um, I let it sit with you for a moment and think about this. Um, Johnson was a black trans woman living unhoused in, at the time, the United States' most violent city, New York, during a time in which being gay and queer was considered an epidemic. Because remember, not until the late 70s, early 80s, I forget the actual date. Sarah, can you clarify the date for me when homosexuality came out of the DSM as a mental health disease, which is again why going from the 70s into the 80s, there was this idea that if you were gay, you were mentally ill. But she understood that shrinking is its own kind of dying. It's a lot slower, it's a lot quieter, but it's no less complete. So
1973.
1973, yeah, there we go. And how long did it take before people believed that being gay or trans was a mental disease? Well, guess what? People still think that. That stigma is still there. And so Um,
Yeah, one of my most common transphobic comments I get on things is that I should be institutionalized because I'm trans.
really? I don't
Yeah.
get those comments because that's the shit I want to reply to.
I got the "you should just kill yourself" comment yesterday. It's the joy.
So the unaliving comments, those are hard.
No.
Those are very difficult comments. Um, I don't know, Brandon. Can I ask you? Do you get comments like that on the things that you write or the people that you engage?
No, not not that type. Um, the guy that I was talking about a minute ago um, referred to me as a pile of sticks, which
No. No.
you know what I mean by that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to ask. How is calling somebody a pile of sticks offensive?
Think
Well,
English.
a faggot is a pile of sticks
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. Okay.
carry to
It's
you
a
know, put on
Okay.
put on the fire.
construct your
I
own
was like,
slur thing.
why am I a pile of sticks? I don't understand that.
Look. I mean, I haven't heard somebody use bollocks in a way that's offensive, and it's been a while. So forgive me. Yeah, that's really fucked up. That's really fucked up. Although I will tell you, there's a lot worse things that people in that mindset. I didn't call them Nancy. Oh, that one burns me up. Like whenever I get around an English European and they call me a Nancy, it's like, oh Jesus Christ! Like, can we just get rid of this? Can we stop using this language between each other, please? It's not beneficial. Miranda, what does the coffee cup say? I have to ask.
Sorry. Hooked on cold fast.
Hooked on coffee.
Hooked on coffee. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not going to dispute that.
Oh no, it says hooked on cold fast. That's the name of the coffee shop.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. It's
it looked like coffee.
yeah. That's actually cool.
And here's
But
the other side.
Oh God, even better. So going back to the first narrative question, staying silent. How do you make yourself smaller? I don't know about you guys, but when I relate everything to my transit experiences because that's the viscerality of human experience, random human experience that I get. And yeah, there are some days I get on the train and I literally just how little space can I take up? And if I'm panicking or not. If I'm in panic mode, which Sarah knows all about because I bugged Sarah to talk me out of a panic. Hell, I've asked Miranda to talk me out of a panic before.
I didn't catch that last part.
Oh, I have asked you and Sarah both to talk me out of having a panic attack.
Oh yeah, we got you.
Because being smaller makes that panic less. It doesn't always, but it does at certain key times. And so, I don't know, Sarah, how bad has any panic you've ever experienced me have been?
I mean, I can't speak to how it felt for you to be in the panic.
I was asking for an external perspective.
You're still able to function through your panic, so that's good.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably true. Um, you know, um, the memorable panic experiences that I have had over the last year, right down to the time that I interrupted a Russian orgy while I was door dashing, proved to be the more of interesting. Like when I was door dashing, you laugh about this, but I interrupted a Russian orgy. I had a meth addict threaten to shoot me, and I repeatedly would get misgendered, like in horrible ways. The Russian orgy thing was funny though because I went to the door. It was a Chick-fil-A order too, which I thought was really fucking weird because we all know that Chick-fil-A is Jesus chicken, power of Christ in the form of chicken. And I walked up to the door of this. I mean, it was in East Atlanta, but this non-discrepant suburban house. And when the door opened, this woman in a leather cat suit and 6-inch stiletto heel shoes, who had a very large blunt implement strapped to her waist, walked up. And I said, "Here's your food." And in Russian, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, everyone. The courier, Yoshi Reyes, the courier is interrupting our Haviyevets fun." And I handed her the food, and she made like a couple of slurring comments in between there in her language or whatever. And I looked at her and went, "Abarots vielec manec godrodzic, barosh yet Yevremirec, Mino Ruski is actually pretty good." And her eyes went really wide, and then she shut the door and walked out. And I don't remember if it was Miranda or Sarah, but I immediately called one of them and said, "I'm pretty sure I just interrupted a Russian orgy in the middle of the day."
Yeah, I remember that conversation.
But as a trans progressive druid DoorDash driver, yeah, I mean, I made myself purposely small. For the most part, I was hoping I could just drop the food off at the door and then run away. Drop the food off at the door and run away. But so, how do you make yourself small, Sarah?
I'm actively trying not to.
Why not?
Because I've spent my entire life trying to make myself smaller.
Why?
For the comfort of others.
Why does the comfort of others matter?
I'm realizing it doesn't, but at one point it did.
Okay, why did it and why does it not now?
Because I was relentlessly picked on all through school, and now I just don't care.
Well, I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but people pick on people because of their own insecurity.
Oh, I get that now.
That self-awareness as a kid is something you just can't manage.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. There's this idea that like true abstract thought really doesn't complete in the human mind. And so the abstract that people pick on people because of their own insecurities is kind of a, That's kind of a thing. So then, yeah, why should you now literally just don't care? Is that what you were telling there?
I mean, yeah, if it was to happen now, it would probably still hurt, but I'm not going to internalize it and dwell on it like I once would have.
Well, because you surround yourself with people who are going to validate you. I would think you get enough validation from us and from others in the community that anywhere else that we're going to say to you shouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it would hurt in the moment, but it wouldn't be something that I would have to dwell on because of that.
Well, that's actually probably a good thing. That's probably a good thing. I don't know. We're going to pick on Brandon. Do you purposely make yourself intentionally small, and why?
I knew you were going to pick me for some reason. I had it in my head. I knew it.
Well, hold on. Before you complete this, I want everybody to know I can read minds. Watch this. I'm going to read Brandon's mind. Are you ready? Okay. Brandon's literally thinking, "Gosh, what an idiot! She can't read mine." I'm here all week. Tip your waitresses. Okay, Brandon, please continue.
Oh dear. I guess there are times, like if I'm in a big group of people, or in a group where there are a lot of bigger personalities, maybe, or like talkative people, and it doesn't have anything to do with being gay, but just being introverted, I guess, is more like it. Like, and in some live videos, if they're like a bunch of people and they're all kind of talking at once, or Zoom meeting, a lot of times weekly I go to a writers group. We have a Zoom meeting, and there are a couple of people who tend to kind of dominate the conversation, talk over people and stuff, and I don't try to compete with that. I just sit back and I'm like, meh.
I don't know. For as long a period of time as I've known you, Brandon, I've never really asked this question, but Sarah indicating that it's in my mind as question begging. Did you get picked on when you were a kid?
Yeah, some.
I mean, I'm not asking you to reveal trauma that you don't want to reveal publicly, but
No, I think I've mentioned it occasionally in an article or something, but yeah, there were times in both elementary and through some high school. So, yeah.
I just imagine you were this quiet, introspective kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was definitely quiet. I would have been described as shy. And
I want to be clear, by the way,
Mhm.
describing somebody as shy, in my opinion, is not a negative. People attach a nasty connotation to the word shy, but shyness and introversion are not.
Well, that's what I was about to say. The same thing goes for being an introvert. And it's usually like an extrovert that's when they go to a party or something and they see or counter introvert, they want to bring them out of their shell, or include them in the group and stuff like that. And to a point, that's okay, but they treat them as if there's something wrong with them, like they need to fix them. They need to open them up. Bringing them out of their shell is like not necessarily a positive fix for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so,
Oh.
yeah, a lot of times introversion and shyness do have a negative connotation attached to them, and it shouldn't.
No, it should never have that attachment.
But that's those kind of situations are what come to my mind when I think of making myself smaller, just kind of sinking into the background, into the wall, becoming that wallflower kind of thing. It's like a fly on the wall, and just being more observant than a participant. So those are the things that come to my mind particularly.
I agree. I agree utterly and wholeheartedly with that. And fear predicates that. Fear predicates a huge portion of that, actually, which goes right into the next item of the narrative. Jericho Brown, and I know the only other person in this chat that knows who Jericho Brown has to be Miranda. Oh, of course. Wait, I don't want to.
Yeah, I've done a poetry workshop with him.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
So he is a prize-winning poet. We're all born with a great capacity for love. The question is whether we let our fears or our loves define it. And so fear is not danger. It's proof that you have something that's worth protecting. Jericho Brown writes through every American terror and comes out still building beautiful sentences, in my opinion. You don't have to hold all of today at once. Hold your peace, your block, your family, your seating place in a coffee shop while you're drinking copious amounts of caffeine, trying to inspire yourself. Sitting in a room of your house, staring at some other screen and typing randomly to people while we're having an active discussion. These are all that's not surrender. It's the only tactic that's ever actually worked. The rest is just noise that powerful people make to keep you worn out and exhausted. And so that begs the question, when did fear last make a decision for you? On what level? And if you thought about it, what would love have inspired you to do otherwise? And so, my go-to fear was that, and this, I'll walking out of the Substack space to continue doing what I was doing. I let fear, I talked myself in and out of that repeatedly. And that fear was because I was afraid I was going to lose readers. And as it turns out, I didn't end up losing readers that I was worried about, because the people that I was concerned about losing didn't leave. They still read my shit every day. It was more, the writing is more important than the audience. My friend Jeff Tiedrich, his wife died 5 days ago, 4 days ago, Claudia. And his literal, like, he dropped the note that she'd passed. He wasn't writing that day. We were all like, nah, don't get in front of your terminal. You just need to process the day. Take a week. Don't write anything. Just take a fucking week. And there were numerous people that were telling him this.
Take
And
your
so
time.
that-
You don't have to do a big WWE entrance right away after your spouse passes.
Yeah. You've lost your spouse. We all expect you to not, not do anything. We all expect you not to, not to, produce anything. How could you? And so, he went and published something today, and I dropped the Jericho Brown quote to him, and I literally told him, I said, Jeff, you're supposed to be resting and taking it easy. And then I parenthed that I was using my motherly caring tone. And his literal reply to me is, Wendy, I only needed a 1-day break. That's all. And when I need another day, I won't be shy about taking it. And so I sent him a DM. You need to back away from your terminal. And he's like, no, don't tell me to do that. That's the thing that's keeping me going. And I'm like, I get it. You've had loss. You need to compartmentalize that. And so I told him, I said, don't let your fear control your actions. You should be secure. And by the way, I want to point out to you that there are a large body of people that worry about you, and it's not just me. He's like, I know. So, I did tell him, you should continue to be mouthy. Don't lose that internalized voice or whatever. And he's like, nah, that's not going to happen. I've been that way for years. I'm not going to stop being that way. And I was like, good. Because that's, and so, yeah, Brandon, when was the last time fear dictated something that you did?
Dictated something that I did or didn't do?
Well, there was an active decision, and fear directed your choice, and why?
The first thing that comes to my mind is having to do with dating.
Oh, okay. Wait, I'm all ears.
Oh gosh. Don't get excited. It's just like if I'm on apps or whatever, and sometimes I'll scroll through, I'll see these guys that I think are very attractive or whatever. If they're too attractive, I don't click like on them because I'm like, well, they're out of my league. And I'm not going to have a chance with them. There's no point. And I just swipe and go to the next one. Or like if one guy agrees to meet me or whatever, like on Grindr maybe, then if he's really attractive, I'll be like, no, what? If I go over there, he's gonna be like, oh no, never mind, no thanks.
Wait, so if the guy's too hot, then no.
Yeah.
How is that? I'm sorry. How is that an automatic no?
Because because of my insecurities.
Right.
I don't I don't think he's, like I said, I feel like he's out of my league, and I feel inferior.
So I hate to use a heterosexual reference for this, but I'm going to because it works in this case. Christy Brinkley was a fucking supermodel, and she married Billy Joel, who is much shorter than she is. And I would not say that Billy Joel was unattractive, but he wasn't like stellar either.
But he's a musician.
So
Girls tend to go for guys that are musicians, and he probably had a lot of money at the. I don't know. Well, I don't know when it was that. They got
he didn't have more money than he can't have had more money than she did.
No, but it's kind of a status thing.
Right. I don't know that, but yes. But attractiveness does not. I don't feel like attractiveness should preclude you from deciding to engage with somebody or not. I mean, the movie Bros proves that unequivocally.
That's just a movie.
Oh, but it's a terrific movie. Miranda, last time fear dictated a choice you were going to make, and why or why not?
I don't know. It's like I've had a lot of like small experiences.
Those are sometimes the most important experiences.
Yeah. So like a couple days ago, I was feeling like dysphoric about my facial hair. So I was chatting with my younger kiddo and was like, I need to shave before I go walk the dog because this is driving me crazy. And he was like, that beard that no one else can see? Made me feel a lot better.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I sort of, one morning I went to work and I did not shower that morning or whatever. And I got on the train and I was like, oh, I didn't take a shower this morning. And I thought about it for a minute and I was like, but I'm actively in hormone replacement therapy. So the amount of sweating and body odor that I generate as a trans woman is infinitely less than pre-transition. So why do I care? And then I sort of jarred myself back to, oh, okay, well then it doesn't fucking matter. Oh, that's right. I don't give a shit about that. Sarah, I'm not going to put you at the top of the order to pick on you, but fear, making an active choice. Wait, not meeting your person yet, which you haven't done.
I mean, honestly, I was going to say applying for new jobs.
Yeah.
Why? Because of your inherent job security?
Some of it. Because of my vehicle situation, the ability to drive vehicles, test vehicles from work is hugely beneficial.
Right.
Otherwise, I would have to be putting double the miles on my personal vehicle because I would have to be driving my child to and from classes.
Well, I don't think there are readers that don't actually know what you do. Are you comfortable with sharing that detail?
I'm not going to share the name of the company or the company I'm contracted to, but we test drive prototypes for one of the big three. So I get to drive the vehicles before they're released to the public.
But that means you've driven some really cool shit.
Yeah,
You're fucking nonchalant about it too. But
I mean, I've been doing this for 18 years, so yeah, I'm a little nonchalant about it.
But that means you've been behind the wheel of a car that was really cool. Well, wait. I mean, you haven't had to drive something like a Pinto yet, right?
I don't think they produce those anymore, do they?
Well, I am making a euphemism for a car that is dangerous to drive.
At one point, the vehicles were so far into the prototype aspect that the airbags didn't work.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That I don't know that I would like that very much.
And there was another group of vehicles that they said that we couldn't have people ride with us. And if there were people that were riding in the car with us, they had to ride in the back seat because the passenger airbag there was a risk of the passenger airbag going off on its own, unprovoked. And I've definitely driven things that I probably had no business driving, like a dump truck.
There are a lot of airbags on YouTube comments that go off on their own.
In what will make everybody happy, there's a class action lawsuit against Trump for taking down the Stonewall flag. Trump took the Stonewall flag down. Now there's like 5 organizations that are banding together to sue the administration over it.
Good.
The championing the right of the good and the few and the representative. All right. Well, so now, Brandon, do you want to like pick on me about my foodie shit for the week?
Oh, sure. Oh, and by the way, I just looked at the YouTube comments, and there aren't any today.
Right?
No, it's been a positive conversation between Miranda and Eileen.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't talking about you, Eileen or Miranda. I stopped looking at the YouTube comments. A couple weeks ago. I was like, I just can't anymore. I just don't want to. There's just too many of the ridiculous ones.
Here's the thing about YouTube comments and or comments in general. And Miranda, you can temper my statement with this all you want. I find them interesting because I find it interesting how original a transphobic or homophobic comment can be. So it's almost like they say something, I want to hold up a 2 and go, that performance was terrible and it didn't affect me at all. You should try harder.
Yeah, they use the same talking points over and over again, and you can kind of tell what right-wing media is talking about based on the comments that people are making on our posts.
Which raises an interesting point that I want to raise now with Trump indicating that trans people are terrorists and that trans people should not own guns, and there's no comments. Maybe they're afraid to comment now. Oh, don't say that. I'm going to go in my closet. I'll be right back. Yeah, maybe there's a lack of desire to just predicated basically on fear. I think if that's the case, I think it's funny. But my food hack for the day was pantry pasta, because everybody has random pasta hanging around in the pantry, which is boil 12 ounces of pasta, saute 4 cloves of garlic and olive oil, and then wait for it, Brandon. Add 1 can of white beans.
I was waiting for the beans to come out.
Half a tablespoon of red pepper flakes, salt, toss the pasta with half a cup of the pasta water, and then throw in lemon zest. 7 ingredients, and you can feed 4 people. All right, judge me.
Well, that's not too bad with the red pepper flakes and pasta and everything. If it were just beans, that would be one thing, but I might be able to tolerate it. White beans, though, I don't know.
So Brandon, what's your take on white beans versus dark beans?
I like the dark beans.
Do you like the dark beans that are bigger than the white beans?
I mean, dark beans usually are bigger, in my experience.
So you like bigger, girthier dark beans?
I mean, they're fun.
Okay. I was expecting either you or Sarah to completely eviscerate that done in 15 minutes meal, but I'm thankful that you didn't.
It doesn't sound too bad. If I were going to make it, I would have to use red beans or black beans or something like that because I don't have any white beans.
Are you opposed to white beans? Like, do you like chickpeas, like garbanzo beans?
I don't have chickpeas in that form. Like I eat hummus, different flavors of hummus, which I think is chickpea, right? Usually.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I couldn't resist that. So there's a comment in the YouTube chat. Holy autism! What the fuck did I just join? And my reply to that was, "Your mom was here. She looking for you." I feel bad for. I feel bad for. So we're going to get trolls towards the end of the show. I think that's amazing. You bitches are late. You bitches are too late. Show's already over. We're almost done. All right. So then my grocery bill hack. Swap 2 weekly dinners to dried beans and rice. Pinto beans. Oh, so let's have the bean statement then. For beans, which beans do you prefer to cook with?
Pinto beans are okay. I like black beans. Those are probably the top 2. Red beans are okay. Butter beans sometimes are okay, even though that's like a white bean, I guess. But I don't know.
Yeah, so basically, if you swap 2 weekly dinners to a beans and rice with a protein mixture, I mean, those come at like $1.50 a pound, and a pound of beans can feed 6 people. That's $40 a month back into your pocket that you're not spending. With, by the way, roughly between 13 and 18 grams of protein per cup of beans that you are using. Now, as we all have learned from, okay. I'm Brandon. Yeah, I've got a meeting I've got to get to, by the way, for work. So anyway, yeah, the bean thing is hilarious. And then the growers comment I was going to make, Sarah, is regrowing Have you ever grown scallions before, or tried to?
Scallions.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a fancy word for green onions. Or is it an actual onion?
They're in the same family, at least.
Yeah, they're in the same family. basically drop the root ends, like an inch of the root ends, into a glass with half an inch of water on a sunny windowsill. And then literally in 5 days, you have harvestable.
I might have something like that sitting on my counter right now.
Okay. Okay, then. Thank you, by the way, Sarah, for playing whack-a-mole with the trolls.
Of course.
I appreciate that. It's
See, I shouldn't
very.
have even mentioned it. They roll in right after I was talking about them.
Oh well, Brandon, it's not your fault.
Well,
So with that, we'll close for the day. Brandon, you be good for Monday.
Oh wait. Let's see. Oh, Monday, yeah. That's the 23rd, right?
Yeah.
I have a live video at 11 a.m., but after that is fine.
So you're 2 hours back. We can go to 2 o'clock on Monday. Will that give you enough over coverage?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then we'll just go at 2 o'clock on Monday. Great. Well, with that, I will tell everybody thank you for coming and watching. I am going to Sarah. Will you drop into the independent chats all of the links, all of the necessary links to the appropriate items, because we're now running on Mastodon. We're now running on PixelFed. We're now running on Matrix and other Fediverse resources. As corporate ownership of social media is getting too wildly crazy and using data that we generate for their own twisted, fucked up purposes, I'm not going to continue to feed into that per se. So, with what's that? Okay. Oh, I have a notification. That's weird. Anyway, with that, I will tell everybody, please be safe out there. Do what you can to keep yourself safe and in one piece. We need all of you as much as we need each other to get through all of this shit. And so with that, have a good weekend. Do something badass. Everybody should do something badass this weekend. And then we'll be back on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.